We're about to get raw, emotional, and deep, so let's just get right into it. Trigger warning for infertility. And for those of you who don't know, my name is Libby. I'm a certified health and wellness coach that does a huge array of content, so don't forget to follow and subscribe. I wanted to sit down and have this kind of raw one-on-one because I feel like this is something that's not really talked about and that a lot of people go through just personally by themselves, just alone. And I want to make this video to let people know they're not alone and to feel like they have someone and like they can connect, because feeling alone is a very terrible feeling. And as I mentioned in my trigger warning, this has to do with infertility. And also by the title of the video, you can tell word boundaries. So, and that really started this past week when I got rid of TikTok when the whole ban happened and there was like 24 hours with no TikTok. I got rid of my TikTok. That helped clear up a lot of free time. And my social media was limited to YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Because I also got rid of Twitter. For other reasons we're not going to get into. So I gave myself a lot of time to be on Instagram and Facebook at night. And then obviously my YouTube is my huge media outlet. So I'm doing my YouTube content. And this past week, with getting on Instagram and Facebook for just that allotted like 30 to 45 minutes at night, brought up a lot of stuff. I noticed within the first couple minutes, every time I would get on Instagram especially, and Facebook too, it started after a little bit after Instagram, a lot of pregnancy announcements from every which way, whether it was a personal friend, co-worker, somebody I went to high school with, someone I went to college with, someone I used to work with, whether it was Instagrammer I followed. So many. I kid you not, I counted, and within 4 minutes I found 4 just by lightly scrolling through my Instagram feed. It got to the point where I was starting to cry in my bed at 9 o'clock at night, alone, feeling so many complex emotions. And I feel like infertility struggles is something that is infertility is something that's kind of like tabooed, a tabooed conversation to speak about, and something that a lot of people go through that they feel alone. They feel like it's something that isn't allowed to be talked about, and it's kind of seen as a shameful thing almost. And I really wanted to have this conversation because, going along with that theme of boundaries that I put in the title, I decided after some heavy journaling and long conversation with my husband, I will be taking a social media, specifically Instagram and Facebook, because those are the two I have besides YouTube, and YouTube wasn't causing any issues. Instagram and Facebook social media hiatus for 2 weeks, solely for personal boundary and mental health, because infertility can bring up so many emotions that a lot of people who don't deal with it don't even think about. And with seeing all those pregnancy announcements, there's so many thoughts that go through. For me, I don't want to speak for everybody with infertility because everyone's different and everyone's journey is different, but for me specifically, so many emotions came up. And the way I've always my main way of coping with it when I was first diagnosed with infertility that I used for so many years was my eating disorder. And that is not a healthy coping mechanism and not a way I can cope. I really wanted to work on utilizing healthy coping skills, journaling, whether that's setting boundaries on myself, like, hey, I need to cut this off for my own health. I need to be strong, I need to be smart, and I need to do this. So, and I want to talk about the emotions that come up because I feel like sometimes people don't realize how much of a struggle those things can be. I'm just going to go through the top few emotions because I want to give people a glimpse of like what it can be like for some people. Again, not for everybody. I'm talking about me specifically. It made me feel shame about my body and shame of me as a person. I felt broken. I then feel resentment and a lot of anger. And there is a hole that just is there. And you feel this overwhelming sense of just going back to that word brokenness, feeling incomplete, feeling like something's wrong with you, and you just feel hopeless, and it leads to a lot of negative spiraling and a very quick bad snowball if I don't really do something. And so that is why I am taking a 2-week Facebook and Instagram social media break and really working on processing all of those feelings that came up, because it really became potent this last few weeks. And it got to the point where I know I'm already on a very strong mental health journey of like, I'm really focusing on my mental health, and it's very important to me because of the battles I've been on before. And I know this is a trigger warning sign. Infertility has always been a huge emotional battle for me. That's also why I want to make this video, because I want to let people know, like, if this is something that happens to you, you're not alone. And if you are struggling with infertility, even if it's not like specifically like social media part of it, just know that you are not alone. This is infertility is so heartbreaking and can be so emotional and just such a real struggle. And so I really wanted to share this and really open up about this to let people know, one, again, they're not alone, and then two, share some light on the reality that quite a few people are going through for those who aren't facing it. I know it's a lot. If you made it to this point, I appreciate you watching this. If you have any thoughts, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Love you all.